Coming to you from Final Third Cigar and Whiskey Lounge in Ingalls, Indiana, Indiana's exclusive Aladino Cigar Lounge. It's the Final Third Podcast.
Schnitzel bitches.
Welcome back to Final Third Podcast. I'm Rob.
And I'm Isaiah. We got Eric with us, the bourbon cowboy.
Howdy, fellas.
Yeah, we're excited. We're going to be tasting through
Just
a few
couple
dozen
things.
bourbons, I think, today.
Cute.
So we're going to be smoking today the 601 Green Oscuro from Espinosa, full-bodied cigar. It's one of their core line cigars. It's just a great cigar, and we haven't actually done it on the show that I know of. So
Yeah,
today's the day.
we definitely have not.
And tell us what all bourbons are on the table, at least for now.
I'll introduce the Dusty Pour because that'll be one of the first things we get into. And this is a Wild Turkey 101 from the year 1988. Eric, how does that make you feel?
I mean, that'd be some not safe for work content, to be completely honest.
Yeah. So, you want to do a cold draw first,
I will.
or you want to
We
get
will.
into the pour first?
I'm
Rob?
going to get a cold draw going first here.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me get it cut.
Cocoa.
Little raisin in there?
Yeah, a little, and maybe a little bit of like alfalfa hay
Okay.
or some kind of a hay, but just like a hay and cocoa for me.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
Okay.
You ready to
Let's
pour
get
this
into a
up?
pour here.
Yeah.
So
I got a stinger for us.
okay,
Didn't I tell you to clean your room?
That's Dusty.
so we got us a dusty pour today, baby. Heck yeah!
For those wondering why I didn't react, I don't have headphones, so whatever
Oh,
sound
sorry.
effect he just played, I got no idea.
Yeah, he has no clue. We'll eventually get there, but we're not that professional.
Are there more plugins?
Yeah, there are.
Oh,
We
if there's a Bluetooth, I've got AirPods. I could do that too. But
no, it doesn't do Bluetooth out. Just in.
gotcha. Okay, all right.
Oh my goodness.
That is so good.
That's dusty. my. Isaiah's got a new toy.
He does.
Isaiah got a new toy, and I'm confused. What's new?
Oh,
Dude, on the nose.
oh,
On the nose, it does that. So it shouldn't surprise me, but the nose is definitely Wild Turkey. It does that citrusy thing.
It does.
It does the rye thing that you can expect from normal 101, but it smells hotter on the nose.
I'll tell you what,
I don't
the
think
taste
it smells
on it.
hot at all on the nose.
The taste tastes like a really, really lower proof, and it's really good. This might be my favorite turkey I've ever tasted.
Oh, just wait.
Flavor wise, I mean, just flavor wise.
Yeah.
By the way, can you turn my down a little bit more, or
Yeah.
can you? Okay,
Yeah.
try it now.
Yeah,
Well,
you
let's
good?
see.
I can barely hear it now. Just barely up now. Come on. There you go. There you
Come
go.
on,
there you
Isaiah, figure it out.
Come on, Isaiah.
No.
Just read his mind.
Yes, why can't you?
Yeah, why not?
Didn't you used to work here?
Supposedly.
go. Allegedly.
Supposedly.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Well, I'm gonna light my
just like
cigar up
ginger and
too.
boots
Yeah.
and an ostrich.
I can't believe how good that turkey is.
That
I
is
can't
delicious.
believe. Like, it's fantastic.
That is fantastic. This will
It
be
is
interesting for me. I
delicious.
have never smoked the Oscuro before.
I can't believe you not smoked this before.
I haven't smoked this size. Normally I grab the little Coronas. And those are pepper bombs. They're just everything you want for the last cigar of the day.
This does the same thing for it.
Yeah.
I just figured the Corona would be a little bit too small to smoke on the show.
Yeah.
And hey, how about a product plug? New lighters at Final Third, Zippo style.
They are.
Yes.
And
They're
they are
Very nice.
they're very true to form as far
They
as
are.
Zippo goes.
And also the Julius is what this is
Julius.
called.
Ooh. Oh.
It's a soft flame.
Soft flame, dual soft flame.
Okay.
And I've been using it a lot lately. I didn't think I would like it, but I love this lighter now.
What's that guy run?
$135.
Okay.
Very economical.
Very economical.
Yeah.
You should buy 3.
Yeah. Okay, so this cigar is doing the chocolatey thing. It almost reminds me of like chocolate graham cracker on the palate.
And the retro's pepper galore, baby.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it's going to go
Oh, yeah.
fantastic with this.
It's if you can find a bit more sugar sweetness, it almost becomes a s'more.
Yeah.
Oh,
can
dear
see that.
Lord.
How's it with
Try
the
it with the
turkey?
whiskey. Oh, my God. I wish we could get this bottle on the bar.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
That might be one of my favorite pairings we've ever had on the show.
that is
Sorry, guys. We're really
Yeah.
not being nice to you.
I'm sorry. I literally have no way to offer you any more of this Wild Turkey 101 from 1988, but I wish I did.
So is that all you had was that sample bottle?
All I've got.
That's
That's all I
nice.
keep getting are these 2 ounce and 1 ounce sample bottles.
That's
and
fun,
honestly,
though.
it's a blast.
It's
So
a fun.
I shouldn't tell you about the 1994 1855 reserve sitting at my house.
I think you shared that with me.
I probably did.
That's the
There's
precursor to a
Rare
rare
breed?
breed.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
there's not a lot once you get in the door of my house that's off
No,
limits.
Well, I remember last time I was there, you even cracked a beam decanter, which sent me on a tizzy about how much I love the beam decanters.
yes,
are good.
yes, I did.
Like when you find a good one, they're really good. We haven't tried any of my beam decanters on the show, so
No.
maybe if I go too long of a stretch without getting dusty samples,
We'll get one.
we'll just crack my beam decanters.
Well, I don't know if I told you yet, Isaiah. I know Eric knows. We've got Brickhouse Coffee now.
Heck yeah, let's go.
And so we're selling, by the cup, obviously, like we always have. We're selling by the cup the black and tan, but we also have beans and ground if you wanted to buy a bag here too. And I'm telling you why, I brewed just a few minutes ago. I just got it here like an hour ago.
Oh yeah,
And it is delicious. Oh my gosh, I forgot how good that cup is.
the black and tan is fantastic, and the wonderful thing about it is it's very balanced. It still
It
has
is.
those roasty notes from what they're calling the black in there. So
Mm-hmm.
it's got some of those really highly developed coffee roasty notes, along with some of the lighter, fruitier ones that you get from the beans in there that are less roasted. And,
Yeah.
which also means more caffeine.
More caffeine. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's go.
Now, one thing they did do it wasn't their fault. It was my fault on the website. They sent me just the black in the beans and the ground, which, by the way, is delicious too.
Yeah.
But we'll be getting the black and tan as well in beans.
Cool.
So that'll be coming soon.
I'll have to try some of that after we record.
Absolutely, man. It is so
I'm probably
good.
going to need me a pick me up anyway.
I can't believe how good the 601 green and this turkey are going.
It's
So good.
Like
What
the
did,
perfect
what did
pairing.
we have last time we did a dusty pour? I think it was
was it the last show?
no, it was a couple shows ago.
If it was a couple shows ago, it was the limited edition Aladino.
Yeah, and we were drinking it was an Old Crow bottled in bond from 1942, and it was and that was another wonderful pairing. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, they knew what to do with whiskey when these came out, and they also, I think a lot of it has to do with how they treated the oak.
Yeah.
I think it's how they treated the oak, but I think something that's not mentioned enough is also that they were probably using a lot of cypress fermenters back then.
Okay.
And so
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
using that cypress fermentation method inside of a massive cypress barrel, essentially open topped, you're going to have some interaction when all that's happening
Yeah.
versus your stainless steel or copper that you're in nowadays.
So, do you think, because there's a lot of brands that are still sour mashing,
Yes.
and I think that would be an even easier thing to do on an open top cypress barrel, because you're
It
talking
is.
about a porous material, so it's going to hold bacteria. And I say bacteria, and people
The
will
good-
think that that's bad.
The
but
good bacteria
bad.
that helps kickstart fermentation, that helps
yeah,
develop
you,
flavors.
fermentation is controlled rot. That's all
Yes.
It is.
There's no other way around it.
So I would think that would even be able to hold yeast better. You know, you wouldn't think that they need to pitch as much as you would in now what they're using with the stainless fermenters?
No, they probably weren't having to pitch as much, but also the milling processes that they would have had back then for grains were a lot gentler. You know, they would end up, the company would probably end up with more loss and or more solids that they had to filter out than what they do today.
Yeah.
But that's part of where that flavor came from, is that that grain wasn't being so pulverized so quickly. It was being broken down in a more gentle way.
Yeah. Huh. Well, you also got to think, like, back at that time, there wasn't as much modified corn as there is now.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
So you'd have completely different grains. And it is always good to have somebody with an actual farming background on the podcast.
Yeah,
'Cause
absolutely.
if you didn't know, Eric comes from a farming family.
Yes.
Failed farmer. My brother, 10 times better at this. Shout out Brian.
That's why you're an engineer.
I is engineer because I know word well.
Oh. All right, so are you done with yours? Not quite?
I can
Okay.
be.
No,
Yeah.
you're fine. You're
He
fine.
wants to live in this for the rest of the afternoon.
This is really one of the best pours of whiskeys I've had in a while.
Me too. That's so good.
Like, I need to find some 101 from the 80s.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's expensive. Do you know what the price on something like that would be? Wild Turkey Eric.
So that's going to depend on. Sorry about hitting the mic there. That's going to be fun in editing.
No, it's okay.
That's good.
It all depends on what you're looking for. So you can get age stated 101 at 8 years. You can be in an area where it's not age stated as well. Whether or not it says Austin Nichols on that front label or not,
Yeah.
there's a lot of different variables. I see them anywhere from about 300 to about 425, and then way up depending on the year and the
Yeah.
age. And
So you think I would be able to get a Wild Turkey 101 from 1988 anywhere from 300 to 425?
I would assume so. I'm not super up to date on my secondary values because screw secondary.
Yeah.
But when it's something like this, you kind of got to pay secondary. It's not like it's just available at the corner store anymore.
Yeah, you're not going to find it at Walgreens.
No, you're not.
So now we're getting into. Go ahead. Sorry.
That's practically Stag Junior store pick prices.
Yeah.
And I would take that over a Stag store pick.
Oh, 100%. But
with
honestly, if you love that so much, run on down to Neat Bottle Bar in Louisville. Or is it Lexington? It's in Louisville. They usually have it in stock at about, they have the 12-year 101 in stock for about $175 a bottle.
Wow.
It's not dusty, but by God, it's...
Yeah. You're talking about the export release?
Yeah.
Yeah. I do love that bottle.
And if you're talking about just taking an hour and a half, 2-hour drive, and then less than... You can hand them $200 bills and you can get some change back.
Maybe Rob and I will go do the Evan Williams experience to get an Evan Williams 12 and then
I'm
grab
planning
a
it
Wild
soon.
Turkey 12.
Same.
I'm planning it very soon, so
When you guys decide to do that, you need to hit me up so that
we'll
I can
get it.
you
We'll get a
set
couple
up
cars
with,
going.
I
just need to set you up with some time with John Waddle again.
Oh, heck yeah!
Go back to Peerless.
I actually got an Evan Williams 12 from a guy for under MSRP here, and it came all the way from Japan.
Yeah.
And it's the Japanese release. So real quick, before Rob comments on this, tell us what we're drinking, Eric.
So it's part of what this whole episode was being done around. This is my home state of Illinois, Whiskey Acres Distillery. They started up production in 2014. They pride themselves on actually all being farmers before they ever started this business venture. They grow all of the grain that they utilize: rye, corn, wheat, and barley. They mill it all on site. The only thing that they outsource themselves
is there sweet corn?
No. They grow that too. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice. Don't get me started.
You be whatever you want to be.
I'm trying to be nice. But The only thing that they actually outsource there is they send their barley to a local malting house about 10 minutes down the road to handle the malting for them. But they started up, they brought on Dave Pickrell of Whistle Pig, of Blackened, of Maker's Mark. He was consultant for them from day one before they even started running a still.
Which, if you don't know the name Dave Pickrell, everything he touched in his lifetime turned to gold.
Yeah.
But, so it's all grown in the DeKalb, Illinois area. And I think just about every field surrounding that distillery right now is growing their stuff. They are also working on doing some heirloom corns. So not just the typical blue corn that you'll hear about or the Bloody Butcher. No, they have done glass gem corn, which for those that want to look it up, it is a pearlescent colored corn kernel and really, really cool. And it created a bourbon for them that had a really strong apple character, actually.
Oh, nice.
They've also done stuff with blue popcorn that is phenomenal.
So tell us.
So today we're
About this
drinking
bottle.
their
So-
7-year release.
So this was just released. This is 7 years, 107 proof, wheated bourbon, completely made on site in Illinois.
Nice.
Which is crazy because there's a couple distilleries that I know of that are doing the grain to glass thing. And I have never seen a 7-year product out of them. Most of the time you're talking between that 2 to 4 year range. And
Well, and
7 years.
I'll
Well,
tell
the
you.
color on a weeder, man.
Yeah.
Look at that.
It's dark.
What's the mash bill?
Well,
do you
and
know?
genuinely, we
the
did bourbons kind of need 7 years. Like
They do.
It's a magic number for one.
So the mash bill, I actually do not have an exact number on. Isaiah, I can probably get you that number if you want to throw it up on the screen after the fact.
No, that sounds like too much work.
Fair enough. But it is wheated bourbon. They do great work, and their pricing has been one of the things that I find really fair. This was a limited release. It was $77.77, released on July 7th.
That's
77,
awesome.
77, 77.
It's a hell of a price for a 7-year product that good. My God.
So
Well,
it is.
yeah, I mean,
it is a
even-
little different than what you're used to, but it's very good.
Yeah, I mean, even following the old standard of like $10 a year, they hardly did that.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Okay. This is the tasting note I'm getting. And this sounds really weird, but it's like a cinnamon pound cake, like a
Yes.
cinnamon fruit cake.
Yep. For a wheated bourbon, it's got a lot more spice to it than you think.
I
It
would
is
have
not
never guessed
overly
that to be
sweet.
wheated, but I do get that it's wheat since you said it, but not as much in the total profile.
yeah, no, I can definitely see it as a weeder because it does the typical weeded thing where it has. I lovingly call it a cream cheese funk.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's my telltale thing for weeders, and you know, it's amazing. This pour
really
is
good.
fantastic.
So
really is.
Nick Nagel, one of the owners of Whiskey Acres, called it a macaroon in a glass. And
Okay,
I
there you
could
go.
definitely see that. The one thing is you can definitely still taste some of the grain,
Yeah.
but that is actually kind of their profile. That is what they want. They're
Well, I mean, they're proud of it.
Yes,
and
they're-
they should.
that's-
They
be.
should be. It's good.
it's very good, and they are proud of their grains.
And it's not that you're tasting grain in a green, unaged vegetal way. This is actually aged. This has an oaky presence there.
Yes.
There's almost a barrel spice in there. I think the only thing that could have taken this over the edge to me is if it was a toasted barrel. Can you imagine this in a toasted
Oh, my
barrel,
God.
man? You had some of those marshmallowy notes. Like that would
Oh, that'd be so good.
That being said, this is fantastic.
It's delicious.
And
Yeah.
for $77.77, that's unmatched.
Oh,
and
I think so.
you want to know something? They still have some on the shelf.
Seriously.
Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's something I'm very proud of. I'm very happy to have shared some of this stuff with you guys.
Well, and right now they're not distilling or not distributing in Indiana.
no, not yet.
I did
Nick.
I did talk to. So yeah, Nick, if you're listening to this, Indiana Small Batch is here right now too, and I've already told him he's wanting to talk to you. So
They
need to
they
get
already
you and
spoke.
Steve
They
talk.
already
Okay,
spoke.
okay, good. Because I'd definitely love to have some of your products on our bar for sure.
Yeah.
It won't take long to get a nice following in Indiana. This
heck
guy alone will be the one to toot your horn.
You can rep your brand for it.
That's what you
I
need to do is
try.
hire this guy, man.
Agriculture.
He's an ag major.
I'm not.
Self-study, though.
Yeah, self-study.
Self-study.
Yeah, self-study and how to kill things. That's about all I'm good at.
Bottles. How to kill
Yeah,
How
bottles.
to
I
kill
can kill
bottles.
bottles of whiskey
Yes.
real good. I am.
See you, bud.
I'm a A1 professional at that. Top of my class.
So
that's really
after the Whiskey Acres, this cigar is kind of intensifying that almost chocolatey cinnamon thing. Like
And some of the peppers drying off a little bit. Yeah.
yeah. It's not as the cigar's not as spicy to me after the
Oh wow, that
Whiskey
is
Acres.
yeah. And this comes from somebody who's never had this cigar before. That was pretty strong when we were not strong, but it's very full flavored when we were having
Eric
that
is
wild
not
turkey.
typically the type to go for beat you up full body.
I wouldn't say that. I just don't go for the big red pepper hitters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go more for the strong earth.
Yeah, the strong earth's my
Yeah.
big thing. But that you are right. That pepper note really dried off from that, and you really get a lot of that cocoa and cinnamon,
Yeah.
and just a little bit of allspice. Just chef's
By
kiss.
the way, shout out to Tam
Tam.
to Tam.
for showing up in here today. She was supposed to be off today, but Lisa's sick.
Thank
so
you, Tam.
she covered so that we could actually record today. So,
Yeah. Tam's a homie.
and then she's going to be covering for me the rest of the day when I'm laying on the couch.
Hey, just make sure she gets paid overtime for it.
Yes.
That's the only circumstance
The
where
only
she'll
circumstance.
cover your butt.
Exactly. Yeah. She'll be she should hit overtime pretty well this week.
Oh, I'm sure.
Hey, she deserves it. Dealing with you every day,
Tell me about
and
it.
especially right now, you're in your final 30 days before hockey season, baby.
Oh, hell yeah, baby.
gee.
Which great
Oh,
segue.
wow.
Great segue.
It's like they paid him.
Man, good job. So I've not made the full announcement. I've talked about it, but we have signed a contract with the Indy Fuel. I'll be playing this season. So, oh wait, no. We're actually sponsoring.
Can you imagine Rob getting an injury in hockey? He'd be down
I'd
for
be-
4 months.
I'd be dead. I'd be dead.
You know what? You know who exactly I want to do it? I want Matthew Kachuk to check you into the boards. One
No.
time.
No.
And I want him when he's fully healed from that sternum break.
Not Kachuk. He's a little pussy. Let's get Claude Lemieux to do it.
Oh, you really do want to die.
But no, so we're actually sponsoring the third period. They'll be announcing us. We're going to be doing some stuff together with them. We're real excited because we're hockey fans here. Well, not Isaiah, but we're hockey fans here. And we're going to be playing all the games. We got a deal with Flow TV so we can actually play all the hockey games here. So we're going to have all the Indy Fuel games on. I'm just excited to be a part of them. We'll have tickets. We're going to be doing some giveaways for tickets for some of you guys. So
And
It's
as
gonna
they
be a
say
fun
at all the
time.
fuel games, let's go fuel.
That's right. That's right. So good segue, buddy. Nice job.
You're welcome.
What else you got, Rob? There's another event?
Yeah. So this Friday coming up, after this airs, we have Black Label Trading Company and Blackworks. We got Calvin coming in to do a little event with us here. And cool thing is, if you know those guys, whenever they do events, they bring in event-only cigars. So I've got a few boxes of each of those coming. So you can come in here and get cigars that you can only get during events. So we're excited about that too. And I'm also going to be expanding their line a little bit too. So
Can I have you buy as my proxy since I'll be heading back to Illinois?
we can talk.
All right.
We can
What do you
talk.
keep doing in Illinois?
Buying Whiskey Acres.
Yeah.
Buying Whiskey Acres and golfing a lot with my friends, but we've also had like weddings and family get-togethers. I'm at that age, just shy of 30, where everybody's doing all sorts of stuff, and I never get to stop traveling.
Yeah.
Well, and so we do have, like I said, that one is coming up and that's September the 9th. But also September the 28th is our event after that. We've got Crux, which they'll be coming out here too. That'll be another great event, cigar event. And Case Elegance, the humidors, Claro
Yes.
humidors. they're going to be out here too. So we'll be having that one at the end of the month.
Wait, you're a Claro Humidor
Yes, I am.
spokesperson, aren't
Yes,
you?
you are.
Yeah,
I'm
tell
not
us
I'm not a
little bit.
spokesperson, but I was lucky enough
won
last year.
one.
Yeah.
I won one here, of course.
Yes,
somehow.
you did. Yes, you did.
Everybody called it rigged. It was not.
Hey, you saw my dial. I hit the dial.
But I've had mine for almost a year now, and I absolutely love it. Their system works very well, and the seal on it's phenomenal. I haven't had any major ups or downs once I got it seasoned and it leveled off. It's kind of stayed right there, even through winter and summer. So
Yeah.
I very much enjoy it. And having the little drawer underneath for all of my lighters and cutters has not only been helpful, it's probably helped me to not get beat by Carson for leaving stuff around the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the other nice thing about Claro and Case Elegance, they're local, so it really fits the model of what we like to do here. We like to work with local companies, so it's a small business, but again, I think it's probably the best humidor of its kind on the market, and the price point's a half of what most of them are online too.
Oh, absolutely.
So that big one is only $229, and I've seen some that size that aren't even near the quality for
Oh,
going
have you
for
ever
over
seen
500.
the Colibri ones?
Those are really expensive. They're cool.
They're
They're very cool, but they're
Yeah.
very. I mean, they're $500.
Yeah.
and
And I don't think they're as high quality.
well, they're
No.
made of metal. They're
Oh,
they're like
okay.
they're
yeah.
like
all right.
they're
I
like
was-
the big lighters. And
I was
stuff.
thinking of other ones. Never mind.
Yeah,
No, they are ribbed though.
they're
his
for your
pleasure.
pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For everyone's pleasure.
You're an equal opportunist.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't discriminate.
Yeah. So are you using their humidity solution in it, or have you switched to Bovida? You can be completely honest.
Yeah, be honest, because
Yeah.
that's
I've switched it over to Bovida for myself.
yeah.
I found myself, I really like to have low maintenance when it comes to my humidor, so I do not like to rotate cigars inside the box. If you don't mind doing that weekly, you'll be all right with their solution. But whatever is sitting on that bottom row at the very bottom is going to soak up a ton of humidity from their actual active humidifier agent. I switched over to a Bovida box, and then just for my own sanity, I toss in 2 little Bovidas on top, and I've been solid for 8 months now.
Yeah. Well, and I've been telling people, try it with the solution, get everything acclimated with the solution. And then when you get to the point where you just kind of, everything's good, just throw your boxes in there. Throw a 69 or a 72 in the winter, and then throw a 65 in the summer. It'll
Or
be
you can
good.
just be like me and run 65 year round.
I
because
do
it
too.
doesn't do-
Or
It
you-
just depends on the house too, because
Or
some
you
houses
can
get
just be a
drier.
heathen like me and run 69 year round.
Oh yeah, and you can.
Yeah,
Either
you
way
totally
works.
can. No, I mean the wonderful thing about the Claro humidors is them coming with the solution.
So you can go from start point 1.
Yeah.
You need
Yeah.
you need the humidor, and they come with the solution and a couple rolls of, or a couple pieces of paper towel. That's it, and you're able to run with it.
Yeah, you're ready to rock. And there is a humidor seasoning solution in there, isn't there? Yeah. So
There is.
out of the box, you have everything you need to get that humidor going.
And
Yep.
they have clear instructions too. I utilized them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I appreciated that.
Yep,
I
absolutely.
built enough IKEA furniture with god awful instructions.
God, they're the worst, aren't they?
Dude, all the flat pack furniture is. It's like, how is this a bookshelf? Somehow it's going to be.
Yeah.
It's only 8 inches thick right now.
Yeah, serious.
I mean, the fruit coming out of that is
Crazy.
insane.
Yeah.
It's
That is really good, man.
the longer it sits, man, the more it just opens up to you. Like you can tell that it is made from grains, but it is not in any type of off-putting way.
Yeah.
And that was something that was very odd to me when I first tried it, because I was like, oh, it's grainy, but it's so good. You understand why the grain is there.
Yeah.
It's being used as a flavor note instead of just an ingredient.
yeah.
Well, and it's being 7 years, it's pulling the oak, but it's not getting so much oak that it's over
Yep.
over it. It's just
And-
pulling it. It's really nice.
I am 99.9% sure these all were 7 years and 53-gallon barrels as well.
So is this a single barrel or is this like
No,
blended
this is a
of
batch.
several? Okay,
This is
gotcha.
a batch.
Releasing as much as they did, I assume.
Yes, and that was going to be another thing I was going to talk about. Was I love how they age stuff. So everything when you go to Whiskey Acres Distillery, you pull in. Here's this beautiful visitor center area. There's a farm shop. There's a personal grain storage facility, and then there's a actual shed storing all the tractors and stuff. And
Nice.
I mean, you see it all on the tour, but they have the front half of this farm shop is the actual shop. I mean, they've got a welder in there. They've got the torn out car seats that are the seats to sit around on at night. On one side, you look across the other, there's ricks that they built with barrels in them. You go behind that shop, and they've got a Quonset hut, one of those half circle shapes. That is a rick house. And then they've also taken an old grain silo and converted it into a rick house.
That's kind of
So
cool.
is that hut open on
on the ends?
Yeah.
No, none of
No.
them are open,
Yeah.
but none of them are insulated either.
No, huh?
So, and that's metal, baby. That'll soak up that heat
Yeah.
real nice.
Oh yeah.
Well, and the good thing you're talking northern Illinois, so
Yeah.
it's going to get a lot more temperature variation than what you get in Kentucky. So it's going to
Yep.
do something totally different than what you're going to get out
Yeah,
of a
I'm sure
bourbon in
snow's
Kentucky.
a little bit more hardcore than
It snows a lot more hardcore up
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
But another fun thing is that when Pickerel came, he tested the water. That was one of the first things he did.
Can't be any good. It's north. It can't be any good.
Chemically identical
I know.
to the same stuff they're running in Kentucky.
I'm kidding.
For-
No, it can't be. It's the limestone
It's the
water.
limestone
You mean-
water.
limestone?
You mean the limestone shelf that runs from like southern Kentucky all the way up into southern Minnesota?
No, I don't. I don't.
Yeah,
mean that.
exactly.
I don't even mean that. No.
Yeah, but it's all made with great stuff. And actually, another fun thing that they do is they sell off a lot of their spent grain to a local beef farmer
Oh, cool.
to grain feed cattle out.
That's good.
That's cool.
It's called boozy beef.
Oh, I believe it. I mean, that's Rob. You don't want to get into that.
No, no,
next.
no,
Well,
no,
oh,
no.
we're not doing that next?
no, you
Okay.
can't get
Oh
into
no.
that.
Okay,
I'm about to blow your mind again with
You're
wild
talking about the
turkey.
spent grains, using it for things. So I was at Way Out Festival, and there was a company there that takes all the stuff from the breweries, all the grain and all the crap that they use for the beer, and they'll actually make dog treats,
Yes.
and they put them in cans of beer cans. I'm like, oh, this would be awesome. So I bought a couple of those, and I gave one to Tam to take home, and I took one home to Ellie.
Our wonderful new table is brought to you by Deadwood Live. That's D-E-D Wood Live. Go check them out on Facebook and see what Derek can do for you. From bars to tabletops to a giant podcast table, they specialize in making super high quality furniture from live edge woods and reused barrels. So reach out to them on Facebook and see what they can do for you.
Ellie wouldn't even touch it, man.
Serious?
She smells it. She's like, no. Damn, so I'm going to try her again on it, but
I'm sure Tam's dogs didn't care.
oh, no, I'm pretty sure they don't. Ellie's a little more
They
bougie.
sound like fiends.
All right, let's go, baby.
this
What are we doing
is
next?
Yeah, we
says-
have quite a few pours on
This
this
is
show. If you
says
haven't-
Wild Turkey
if you haven't
Diamonds.
seen
It is not. This is a blend of every Master's Keep.
Oh,
and
including the rum finished one.
I do not have the rum finished one yet, but it will be in here eventually.
Okay.
And about 20 different Russell's Reserve single barrels.
Damn, so this is your ideal infinity
This-
barrel
This is
bottle.
this is just fantastic. I will let you pour
I'm
for
gonna do a
yourself.
little bit.
So I have just started an infinity bottle of all like those 13 to 15 year Knob Creek
Creek
picks
picks?
that I have.
Oh.
And,
That'll be good.
I think so. I'm excited. I haven't tried it yet, but
So that's a good thing to talk about too. So a lot of people do infinity bottles. I'm sure a lot of you guys don't even know what we're talking about. So what a good way to do an infinity bottle is pick profiles that you like, and you can blend them however you want to. The way they did it, I think, is one of the best ways to do an infinity bottle because you're using the same distillery.
Yeah.
And you're blending different things you like from that distillery together. Now you can do whatever you want to. You can do it with all kinds of different stuff. But honestly, what's going to end up going if you do that is you're going to end up getting the strongest stuff and the strongest profile that's going to just like overtake everything.
Well, and when I was first doing an infinity bottle, I didn't quite understand the way whiskey flavors work together. So I put in every single whiskey I had.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
And
I did that once too.
And the worst part about it is I had
You had some real good whiskey in there.
Lagavulin Offerman Edition.
Oh, no.
Exactly, and
That took
It
over
went
the
in
whole
there,
thing.
and then I also had a 95.5, like
Yeah.
just a hard rye, and the entire bottle, no matter how much of other things were in there, ended up tasting like a 95.5 that
Got peated.
Peated Isla.
peated.
Yeah.
Yep.
I did the exact same thing. I had all this stuff in there, and I'm like, oh, man, I love Ardbeg. Let's throw just an ounce of Ardbeg.
No.
It was all Ardbeg after that.
Yeah.
No, the peat takes over.
So
Now, I will say it was good,
yeah.
but it wasn't an
It was-
infinity blend.
Yeah, I mean, and
Oh, damn.
what Eric did and what I'm talking that I did with those Knob Creek picks was we're basically doing the same thing as a blender would, where we're taking single barrels or whiskeys we like and blending them together, and it's kind of haphazard in some way.
Oh
But-
yeah, so at a certain point that all started with just 1 ounces of a bunch of different stuff, and as time has gone on and I've drank from it, now I just kind of grab a different pick off the shelf when I get a new one, and I'm just like, we'll toss in a little of that and
Yeah.
a little of this. It's kind of like cooking.
Yeah.
You're like, it calls for garlic. Well, how much garlic? Use your heart.
Until your ancestors say stop.
That's
Dude,
right.
I'll tell you what, this has such a similar profile to that first one we tried.
Yes, it should.
Oh.
It is
That
very
is-
deep and complex, and
Wow.
I would suggest you maybe get more because as it sits and opens, she only
You don't have to tell me twice.
go on, boys, get
We're-
after it.
we're
You
not
know,
even 40
you know me.
minutes into
Once
this.
once the bottle's open and I'm handed it, it keeps going.
All right, I'll get a little bit more.
Rob said, I'm not going to drink that much.
This is freaking
We're
delicious.
3 pours in, and the next pour is probably going to knock everyone over.
Yes, that will be stone cold coming through and just knocking us all out.
But we'll talk about it. Once
Yeah,
we
We'll,
get
we'll
there.
baby this one for a minute,
Yeah.
though.
It's crazy. That's so good.
Isn't it?
That is very good.
So-
And the fun thing is about that is you would never be able to recreate it.
No.
There's no way.
No. Well, and that's kind of the fun thing is the only part that I could recreate is the Master's Keeps because I still have them all. But other than that, there's at least 10 or 12 different single barrels in there that I've since killed the bottle. I can't replace them.
Yeah.
Right.
So I wanted to ask you how you feel about the most recent Master's Keep.
So I've actually tried it.
As a turkey fanatic, normally they're putting their highest tier. This is their BTAC.
Yes, this is their showcase.
Yeah, and the fact is, last year or this year, it's this year's, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a wild turkey bourbon that was finished in rum barrels.
Yep.
How does that make you feel?
So I'm not an outlier in this, but a lot of people didn't jump on the train. I loved Master's Keep Revival,
Okay.
which was finished in Oloroso sherry barrels, specifically 30-year-old sherry barrels.
Yeah.
we don't have a bourbon cigar.
Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good. That's raw.
For me, I'm excited about it, but having tried it, it pains me to say, I feel like it came up a little short.
Okay.
And seeing the new retail price on it at $2.99, it really. This will probably be the last year I buy, and the only reason I will actually buy is that I've actually been to both Wild Turkey and Appleton Estates where they got the rum barrels from.
Yeah.
But after that, I really don't know if I can keep on the collection anymore just because of the price point. When I started in this, the first 2 releases were $150. Then we went $175. Then we went $200. Then we went like $250, and I was fine there. It was like, all right, we're
Yeah.
kind of edging up against this now. Now you're full bore going with your $300 price tag, and it really pains me and irritates me.
Yeah.
And the same thing has happened with Russell's 13. So when that first came out, that was $79.99 a bottle.
Yeah.
Then the next year it came out, they dropped it at like $110 to $120, depending on the store you were at. Now this year, I think it was up to almost $150 or $160 a bottle.
Yeah.
And it's just, in 3 years' time, I've watched the price almost double.
Yeah.
And I don't have it in me to keep up with it at that rate. It's just too much. I've actually started looking back at Scotch now.
Yeah.
Because a $150 bottle of Scotch is pretty darn good Scotch.
Well, and you can
Yeah.
normally get something that's like 15, 17 years old.
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So something you said, backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
Lisa, this is something he had said. He was talking about BTAC a while ago. Lisa asked me the other day, and I'm sure other people don't know what that is. It's Buffalo Trace Antique Collection.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people, when people talk about BTAC, that's what they're talking about. It's Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. So they're higher end, older product, basically.
Yeah. So, I mean, the staples out of that line, basically any of their standard brands, except for Blanton's, gets an older, higher proof brother for the most part.
Yeah.
There's a
It's the stuff you want from Buffalo Trace in general.
and there's George T. Stagg. Stagg Jr. is the little brother. Honestly, most of the time, Stagg Jr. is a little bit better.
Yeah.
William LaRue Weller.
Barrel
Weller
proof.
is the little
Real barrel proof,
Yeah.
not foolproof, barrel proof.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's one that people chase after. I've never tried one, but I
It's
have
very
plans
good.
to very soon, and I'll tell you about that when we get done recording. And they have a lot of these bottles, and the funny thing about it is Buffalo Trace puts these out in the most nondescript, easily available clear wine bottles.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they just have printing on them. And at one point, these were sub $100 bottles.
And still, the retail on them is only supposed to be $100.
Yeah.
If you find one for that, buy it immediately.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
you,
Always.
I mean, genuinely, if you can find any of them for under $400, buy them immediately.
yeah.
I'll say $250, but
Yeah.
I'm stingy on some things.
But like,
I'm kind of with you there.
that's what they do. That's their higher end barrel proof releases, and people go nuts for them. They always release in what the whiskey world considers OND, which is fourth quarter of the year. If you're in any other,
Which is October, November, December.
yeah,
OND. Yep.
yeah. So it's kind of a redneck thing.
Yeah.
But I would like to go back to the turkey thing and the rum finishing and just all their prices marking up. I can't imagine that the Russell family feels good about it, and I only think that it's Campari Group and the marketing team over there that are now making whiskey decisions
Yes.
from a marketing perspective, not a whiskey lover's
100%. And
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it, you're going to see that happen here soon with Wilderness Trail since they acquired them.
Yes.
Yeah.
You.
And I think that was another thing that they were thinking about as well, because, I mean, Russell's Reserve single barrel picks used to only be about $75 a bottle. At one point, they were 60, but those days are long gone. I'll accept them at 70. I've seen stores in Kentucky, big retail stores
80
like
or 90
Total Wine.
bucks.
Total Wine had one for $92.99. And I'm going, you want $93 for this? You're killing me.
You know what? I want to talk about that real quick. There was at one point where Total Wine was the cheapest place to get everything.
Yep.
But now that they're putting out all the mom and pop stores, they had a Hancock's Reserve for $99 this week at all the Total Wines in our area.
What should the MSRP be on that?
It's
55?
55,
Wow.
60.
Wow.
And you know what the crazy thing about it is? Secondary on that bottle is 110.
So you're not.
No,
You're paying
not.
secondary getting at the store.
At this point,
And
what-
it's a 375.
Oh,
Wait.
jeez. That's yeah.
As
That's
far as I
robbery.
understand, it's a 375.
Wow.
You are gonna bring out the rage in me today.
Hey,
you
Drew,
keep telling me things like
Is
this.
Hancock's Reserve a 375 or is that a 750 ml bottle? Okay.
Oh, it is
I lied.
750.
It is
Okay.
750.
Okay, all right. I'll put away the rage monster for now.
But still, it's a.
Still the most overpriced thing on the market.
It's,
Proof down blends for more expensive.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Proof down Blanton's, he said.
for more expensive.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not even a single barrel.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, and even around here, Total Wine is still probably one of the cheapest places we can go to get liquor.
Yes.
I mean, you can find Elite sometimes. I mean, Elite does a good job. They don't. At least for the most part.
most part.
Their barrel picks are a little bit pricey, but they're barrel picks.
Yeah. I mean, they are paying their staff an entire day to go down,
Exactly.
eat at the distillery. Like,
Yeah.
there is some cost for them to do that, and
Yeah.
they're going to make it back on that bottle, which I understand.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then I think Noble's actually not too bad on their prices. Am I wrong there?
Yeah, I mean,
Seems like
Noble's
their prices are pretty
As
good.
far as I know, Noble's Indiana Liquor Group.
Yes, they are. They
and
are.
Indiana Liquor Group seems to be the most consistent around.
And they're buying up a
So-
lot of the little small.
They are.
Now, can I talk about another entity here in Indiana then?
Please do.
Big Red.
Bourbon World, Big Red,
Yeah.
Vine
Yeah.
and Table, Cap and Cork.
That's where your prices go up.
Well, no. I just want to speak on one thing, and I really hope that the owner of Big Red sees this, or at least the guy that's putting out the videos weekly that end up in my email. Matt, I hope that you felt bullied by everybody when you tried to sell Russell's 13 through your store for $350.
That's
you deserved it.
insane. Yeah. Yeah.
So Chili's Liquors in Greenfield
Mm-hmm.
had an allocated event, and they were going to do a right to buy in the form of everybody had to buy a ticket
yes.
to be able to get in on it.
$10 ticket.
$10 ticket,
Yep.
and it was for charity.
Yeah. So that's
Somebody
the thing,
called the ATC on them and
Absolutely.
got it shut down.
which I don't understand the legalities of that being wrong because they're giving that money away to a charity.
It's wrong.
Why is that wrong? I don't know. I'm curious. Why is that wrong?
So it is a.
is it basically gambling? Is that what it is?
It is, and then
Gotcha.
the other part about that is in this, I think federally, liquor cannot be behind some sort of paywall or some sort of special thing.
Oh my gosh! You mean people actually do that? What?
Yeah. I mean, it's the reason you can walk into Sam's Club and Costco and buy whatever's on the shelf
Yeah.
as long as it's alcoholic.
But every liquor store does it.
Every
Every
liquor
day.
store does it.
They're terrible about it.
But you know what? I was happy to see it got shut down, that somebody called on them for it. Because maybe in the future, it'll discourage that even more. And you know what?
I
What's wrong
suppose-
with just doing a big old bourbon drop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess I suppose it's not that it was $10 today. It's the precedent that it could set that moves down the line. What's it to say that, you're not going to be able to access it unless you're willing to toss over $100
So
just
my
to
question,
get your name in the
my
hat?
question on this is, if they would have done this differently and said, "We're giving tickets away for everyone to get a chance, and if you get a bottle, here's a donation bucket for the charity we're going for. You can donate or you don't have to, but we encourage you to donate."
I think that's
legal,
what ended
right?
up happening.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
So from what I understand,
It's
they
just
had
a-
so many people in the store that they dished out tickets, and the allocated bottles they had were so mid. Like
I did hear that. Yeah.
their E.H. Taylor
Each-
small batch
Small batches, yeah.
was $199.
Oh, get
Really?
Can you imagine showing up to a right to buy, getting the opportunity to buy a $45 bottle, and having the opportunity to buy it for $200? You can buy it for $110 all day long on secondary.
Secondary,
and
yeah.
honestly, there's no tax there.
And,
See, and I always thought Chili's was and I've only been there one
They
time.
were.
I thought they were good pricing.
Until they got bought out by Big Red.
Gotcha.
oh, they're part of that now too.
Yeah.
Great.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Matt, I will find you and I will take you down.
There are no threats being
There-
made from Final
Oh,
Third
no.
Cigar and Whiskey Lounge.
Only from a business standpoint.
You know, genuinely, the Indiana market is so picked over as far as whiskey goes, especially the central Indianapolis
Oh, yeah.
area.
It is.
It's not even worth whiskey hunting anymore.
But
No.
may I make a suggestion to you?
What's that?
Lake Liquors in Cedar Lake, Indiana.
Yeah, if
These
you're willing to drive, go.
These two have tried picks from them. They have been stellar.
They're wonderful.
They are up in Northwest Indiana. Go there, meet Rick. He's the owner. You'll have a time.
Yeah, I mean, and it's
But you see what I just did there?
the hard part is with all of these right to buy raffles, all these things, is you're drawing large crowds. Typically, you're disappointing them with the prices after they've stood there in line
Since God knows when.
since 2-3 in the morning sometimes.
Shoot, that one down at the Big Red Cast Strength in Greenwood, there were
Yeah.
people there from like 7 o'clock the night before camping out and just doing parking lot things.
Okay, so that Big Red Cash Strength store did a decent job on pricing with what they had.
I heard that
Good.
too.
They had a ton of Weller 12, and it went out the door for $70.
Which, if you notice, there's a ton of Weller 12 out there now.
Oh, they just recently flooded our market. They had a Willet Purple Top 8-year.
Yeah.
It was $3.99, which,
It's
as much
still
as
a
I
little high.
hate it, that's Willet prices.
It is, especially with the purples.
Yeah.
That's just Willet though. They're always
Yeah.
going to be high, and they don't care. They're like somebody.
But
Well-
the
will
crazy
buy it.
thing is some Big Red stores across the board do not price the same.
No.
So there was a while ago when Dr. Johnston, so shout out to him,
Shout
Dr.
out
J.
Dr. Johnson.
can attest to this. He got in a raffle the right to buy a Four Roses pick from Vine and Table.
Yep.
It was around $90. Every other Big Red store that had it for $125.99.
That's
is-
insane.
Which is
Secondary.
too much.
Yeah.
But what I was getting back to there, the other thing that I hate in the bourbon community, you will see so many people end up being like, oh, well, pick this up today. And people are like, oh, where'd you get it? No comment, won't tell
No
you.
comment, yeah.
No, I'll tell you exactly where I get everything good at.
And honestly, if you're asking that question on social media, it's already gone. Don't even worry
gone.
about it. Because, I mean, most
It's gone,
of those
but
bottles are
but
going to
at the
have maybe a
same
case or
time,
two.
Maybe you can't get that bottle that they posted, but maybe you can find a new store to go check out.
Exactly.
And,
Yes.
there's something else there.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, when there are Johnson Brothers / Buffalo Trace drops in town,
Yeah.
they don't just give it to Total Wine or to the Big Red stores. Or
No.
They're spreading it
everybody's
out.
getting it.
Well, and that's the thing I'm finding out more and more of. Again, in Indiana, the reason why we're talking about this, because Indiana, you couldn't find any of this stuff for the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And it's everywhere now. It's because they flooded the market for so long. I think people are just getting sick and tired of chasing that shit. And now they're like, no one's chasing it as much. So now they're like, oh, we got all this product. We got to start releasing this and selling it.
Well, I think the other side to that is inflation is what it is.
Yeah.
Secondary on almost every bottle has dropped within the past year. And I'm talking like a couple hundred on some of the higher end bottles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
People just don't. Okay.
People
Some
don't
people still have it
them.
like that.
Yeah.
But your everyday guy doesn't have money to be buying secondary
No.
right now.
No.
I mean, what I could be spending money on 3 years ago versus what I can get today.
No.
I can't even fish those waters anymore.
But again, another shout out to your boys at Whiskey Acres. They released a special bottle for $78. Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
I mean,
For
that's
78
affordable for anybody
And
that's
here's
in
the thing.
bourbon.
There
is.
was a big release event. They had a big email push. They had social media campaign for this coming out. They had over 100 people lined up at the distillery that day. They put you on a 2-bottle limit, which, all right, at least
Good
you're
for you.
able to get 2.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they still had it on the shelf as of last Saturday when I went and picked my bottles up.
So they made enough to satisfy the market.
Yes.
Yeah, enough
And-
to sell to the hounds that day, and also enough for their customers coming in for the next couple of weeks.
I mean, just think about it. They could have done a 4-year bourbon and finished it in something like an Amberana barrel and sold it for $90 through an event, and
Oh.
people would have been happy about that too.
Speaking of
some people.
hold on. Speaking of finished bourbons, they released a Moscatel finish.
Moscatel.
Yeah,
Moscatel,
so wine
huh.
finish.
I don't even know.
What's
Yeah. Do you know?
Now I did
what
have
it is?
one yesterday. Was in a Moscato finish,
No,
which
this
was
is
absolutely
Moscatel,
really
and
good.
Truthfully, I'm not a wine guy, so I couldn't
Yeah.
tell you.
I don't know Moscatel.
I
But
don't know that.
you want to know what they charged for it?
$60.
Yes,
Serious?
it was either 60 or 70,
Amazing.
Yeah.
All
and
right.
I think it was 5-year, maybe. I don't.
So, we're saying all of this, and what I want you to do, if you're a whiskey person, find hope in the fact that there is still distilleries out there
that care about their customers.
that have the consumers in mind.
Yes.
There are other grain to glass distilleries, one of which is in Indiana and is fairly prominent, and decides to charge 300 some bucks for a 4-year
4-year.
bottle.
Yeah.
You mean a 4-year sweet corn bourbon?
Well, they're the only one that does it.
Yeah. Only
No, they're not, because guess what?
No, I actually
Whiskey
do.
Acres
I actually
released
do
one.
want you to get into this a little bit.
Yeah.
So, Eric,
Not on the bashing side. Just
not on the
just
bashing
explain
side,
it.
but
yeah.
we do need to educate customers because it is not honest marketing.
Yeah.
No.
So, without putting down the brand,
Yeah.
could you please educate the people of this podcast?
And again, this is a
and-
farmer that knows farming and
Yeah.
other distilleries and what their grains are coming
and
from.
So
I would like for you to mention the distillery.
I will.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have no problem.
Yeah.
Don't put anybody down. We're not attacking the people. We're attacking the marketing.
Yes.
and
Okay.
the marketing and
So-
crazy pricing going out.
The distillery that we keep talking about here, that one would be. Sorry. Oh, tasty whiskey burp there. Oh. It's Old 55 Distillery in Newtown, Indiana. The family that runs that distillery claims that they are grain to glass. The issue I have with that is they're not completely honest in that. They own an ag co-op. And so they have the ability to purchase grains directly from their co-op. But they didn't grow all of those. They don't farm enough acreage to grow all of that grain.
Yeah.
And if it's going to the co-op, I can tell you for a fact that if it went to the co-op, that's mixed with Tom, Dick, and Harry's corn from down the road too. Because that's how co-ops work.
Yeah.
They claim also that they are the only ones that produce a sweet corn bourbon. Now,
And that they were the first.
and they were the first. Now, I will give them, they might have been the first to market. However, Whiskey Acres released a bottled in bond sweet corn bourbon for the wonderful price of $79.99. The only claim that they have left is the fact that they say that theirs is 100% sweet corn. So it is just corn. There is no wheat, there is no rye, there is no barley, there's nothing else. The sweet corn bourbon that Whiskey Acres put out did not claim at 100%, and I do not know the exact mash bill on it, but I can tell you for a fact you're getting 4-year-old whiskey where at least the number 2 yellow dent corn was completely subbed out for sweet corn,
Yeah.
and they still did it at an attainable price.
So, do you have one of those bottles?
I do not.
Okay, that's something we ought to do. If
Oh,
you're able
we-
to attain one,
Don't you worry, we
we'll
will.
do a side by side. I'll bring in the cast strength.
Oh,
I'll
no,
bring in
no.
the bottle and bond
I've got the bottled and bond at home.
of the Whiskey Acres.
The Old 55
Yeah, I've got it here too. You don't have to
Okay.
worry about that. But if you get the Whiskey Acres, I'll bring
Bond.
is
the bottle-
$200 a bottle,
or 180, but still
almost double the
it's
price.
180.
over double the price.
Yeah.
But I would say I would like to try them side by side with the cast strength, the bottle and bond, and then the Whiskey Acres bottle and bond, just to taste through. I mean, you know what? Bottom line is, we can do a blind taste on it.
We can,
and that'd be totally fine, and we could actually tell you
and
what.
that's that big thing. You know, I was talking to you about, you know, you roll up to that distillery in DeKalb. The reason that they've got that grain storage area is because that's how they manage to store all of their grains for the distillery.
Well, and it was the same way it would have
Yes.
when
Then-
we were in Missouri.
That's
And-
where I was going to go too. Is we need
Yes.
to do a blind between the three.
And they had all of their farm equipment literally on the side of the building under an awning.
Yeah.
I mean, this large awning, you know.
Yeah.
Only
But-
difference is that they closed in the awning and turned
Yeah.
it into a tool shed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No,
That's-
I was just thinking about
my
that too.
thing is that there's been some dishonest marketing from them, and for me, that's very disheartening. As somebody in the ag community, I've worked for agricultural companies in the past. I come from a 5th generation family farm. To hear somebody definitely misconstrue to the everyday consumer who doesn't understand how the ag world works, it doesn't feel right to me. Farmers are generally very honest people, and so to have that happening,
Yeah.
it paints a bad picture and leaves a bad taste in
Now,
my mouth.
one devil's advocate.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not picking on or not picking on anybody here, but devil's advocate. Every distillery you go
Oh,
to,
yeah.
they are the first at something, and they
They-
will tell you. Now,
Everybody has a claim.
they all are probably stretching the truth.
I mean, even down to the fact that they say Elijah Craig was the first bourbon. You
Yeah.
know what? You can't prove that.
You can't prove
and
it.
that's why they can
Now,
say
it could have been the first one with a legal definition of bourbon, but we
I
don't know
even
that either.
think that's the case.
I don't either, but
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
who knows?
so you've got either Elijah Craig, the Baptist preacher, who told them to char the inside of barrels that were holding fish at one point, or you've got the grocer down in New Orleans who contacted a distillery and asked them to toast the inside of a barrel like a cognac cask.
Yeah.
And then send it down the river.
Yes, send it down the river.
Yep.
We don't know where the whole toasted barrel or the whole charred barrel thing came from,
And you'll never know.
but it works.
Yes.
That's all we
It
need
does
to know.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's the thing, is like I can't tell you, other than maybe Gary at Wood Hat, and maybe even Alan. Alan really has never said he's the first at anything.
Yeah, but that was one of the. I think that's why we really enjoyed our time with people like Gary and like Alan.
Yeah.
Is they're not trying to be the first. They're
No.
not trying to. They have the mentality of making the best product
Yes.
they can that day with whatever resources they have, whether
Yeah.
that be grains or apples. And there's something even more special about that than there is
It's-
it being the first and being the best and all of these things. Because
It's the
being the best
genuineness.
whiskey is so subjective.
100%. Well, and I mean,
Exactly, yeah.
To go back to Whiskey Acres, even I remember when they came out with some of their first stuff, and it was aged in small barrels for less than a year.
Yeah.
And I wasn't the biggest fan when it first came out, but I have since watched this brand from, I think some of their first bottles or some of the first ones I would have tried were in like 2015. I have since watched them in the last 8 years seriously step up their game to where you're getting single barrel picks that are 5 and 6 years old. You're getting a 7-year-old product done completely in 53 gallons.
Yeah.
They've got a bottled in bond that runs closer to 5.5 that they don't age state so that they have the ability to play with it a bit.
Yeah.
That is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And so hearing companies like Whiskey Acres do that, that's why I will sometimes mention my qualms with Starlight at the fact that you can still, just like last year and the year before and the year before, you're still getting 4-year barrels out of them.
Yeah.
And even their family reserves are only going, what, 6, 7?
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll creep an 8.
Well, the last one of them was 6 years.
Yeah.
And the
And the price
last
is getting out of
round
hand.
was between 150 and 200.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Whiskey Acres putting out a bottle that's 7 years as a limited release, a special release for them.
Yeah,
at $77.77.
and the
Yeah.
only difference is that they're not doing it as I say we, because I do feel like I rep this company to a certain degree, but they're doing it at 107 proof. They're not proofing this down really either. I mean, their single barrel picks come in 114 to like 120-ish. So you're not really watering it down all that much.
No.
Right.
And they're just batching it together and letting it ride. And
Do you know what their barrel entry proof is?
that I do not know
Okay.
offhand. I'm sorry.
I mean, it tastes like they're on the lower end. So I would
Yeah.
guess 110, 115.
I would imagine that they are.
Which that's about what Starlight does on a lot of their stuff too, right?
They're
depends.
they're
Or
edging
even
to that
lower?
125
Yeah.
area.
Are
So
they going
125 is legal barrel entry proof.
Okay.
And there's a lot of brands that do that. I think of like Old Forester and Jack
Booker's.
Daniels and all the Beam products.
Yeah.
No. Knob Creek is a 120 entry proof.
Okay.
Booker's is a 125, which is why I've actually always liked Knob Creek more.
It takes a special Booker's for me to be into it. A lot of them do drink hot.
Sorry about the whiskey nerddom, but
No, it's okay. That's what the show's for. I mean, genuinely. I don't think these people would be listening to this if they didn't both like cigars and whiskey or one or the the
Yeah.
speaking of which, we've kind of forgotten about these cigars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That we were supposed
Oh
to
my
be
gosh.
talking about.
Yeah. This cigar, I mean, with
by
the
this
whiskey,
cigar, the 601 Green by Espinosa.
Exactly.
Actually, very, very good. For my first smoke, I will be buying at least 2 before I leave.
for the bourbons we've tried with it, I think what the bourbons have done is pulled down a lot of the heat and spice on it, and just made it more. And there's probably a little bit of earthiness that you're enjoying right now
Yes,
in it too.
there is.
But you still
There's
got
still
those
that chocolatey
cocoa.
quality.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Yeah.
And there is a fruity, and I would, now that you've said that it's in there, the sherry cask shines through on this infinity bottle.
It does,
Yeah.
but not in a overpowering way.
No.
No, I mean, if you didn't tell me that it was in there, I probably wouldn't fixate on it.
No, but you get the red fruit that sherry will
Definitely
bring,
do.
and that's why one of my favorite cigars, any cigar I want, if I pour that Master's Keep Revival, it's 101 proof, 15 to 17-year-old turkey, finished in 30-year-old sherry casks. It is so smoky, actually, on the palate from those old casks.
Yeah.
It plays so well with any cigar you want. It turns it into, and you have to be in the mood for it, and you have to like sweet. It turns it into like fruit punched 101.
Oh, I believe it. And that's one thing that Rob and I have found with even our barrel picks is like the port, the sherry finishes, all those wine-esque finishes typically go well with cigars.
They
They
do.
go fantastic
our
with cigars.
Bone pick, a port sherry, and a Morrow.
Yeah.
The Starlight,
Yeah, the rye
and
port. Well, and even the Peachtree has so many more fruit notes
It
in
does.
it. Now, and we got the brandies coming. We got
And,
the Elijah Craig coming, and they're
well-
all very fruit forward. So
They are.
and another one that I'll call out on the shelf that goes well is the regular Joseph Magnus,
Yeah.
being
I
finished in
love
the
that.
sherry and cognac.
Yeah.
yeah,
It goes so well.
So if you've seen the lore about Joseph Magnus cigar batch, and you're like, what's something that'll get close to it? It's just the silver label Joseph
is.
Magnus.
It
All
is.
it's missing is an Armagnac
Armagnac.
cask finish.
which
Yep.
I will say does something special.
Oh, it absolutely does. But
But is it
If-
worth over double the
And
price now?
honestly, I would say no.
I would
not
too.
with the current batches that are coming out.
Now I
because
will say
haven't
one
been
thing.
impressed by 'em.
I will say one thing. Whenever I see one on the shelf, I buy it. I
Yeah.
know it's $230 now for a price point on them.
Yeah.
I love to have at least one on the shelf. I'm down to about a third of a bottle now at home. So once I see one, I'm gonna buy another one. But I like it a lot. But man, I've always got a silver label always because it holds up to it just almost as much. Almost, not quite, almost.
Yeah.
it does, and that's why I bought it. I found out I love cognac and I love sherry finishes, and I like cognac and sherry on their own.
Yeah,
And man,
you put them together and they're special. Yep. Well, and that one you can almost always find that. I mean, actually, every time I've been to Total Wine, they've got plenty of those on the shelf.
yes, and they're $100.
Yeah, I think it's up to maybe 110 maybe.
Yeah, but you know what?
But
I'm
that's
still
not
happy
bad.
to pay that because
No.
I know the quality that I'm getting.
And this is also a sourced whiskey.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I've been so excited about over the last year or so is like, before probably a year or two ago, you talk about sourced whiskey, everyone's like, oh, they stick their nose up, oh, that's sourced whiskey. It's
Yeah.
not. No, people are starting to realize, you know what, sourced whiskey can be a really good thing when it's done right. Indiana whiskey or Circle City Whiskey Company. Drew's out here right now. Shout out to Drew.
Shout
Shout
out
out to Drew.
That's what he does. He sources whiskey from a lot of different places. He's had Watershed and Pennington and
he will be having Whiskey Acres soon.
Whiskey Acres.
And
he's got BBC.
He's got Kentucky barrels.
Yes.
Some Heaven Hill, some
Yes.
Game. And
So he's doing a little bit of everything. He sourced it, but he's doing something special with it. And we're finally in that world where that's okay. And I'm glad.
And
I'm
I think
glad.
it absolutely should be.
It should be.
You
It
know
used
what?
to be
Barrel-
everyone sourced when they were a new distillery and they had to wait and you had to have whiskey to sell because you have to wait for at least 4 years for it to be good.
so that is a interesting thing. So Rob was saying people originally put out whiskey. It's kind of what Moondrops is doing.
yeah.
They're sourcing MGP right now, also putting out their white spirits.
Yeah.
Is a way to make money for when it's kind of a stall until they can really put in their cash cow, which is their own whiskey. Did Whiskey Acres do any of that?
Zero.
Yeah.
They made vodka. They still make vodka.
Yeah.
But
So they did make something. They could start making some money
Yep.
while they're aging their product,
Well, and
which
the
is
other
what
thing
you got to do.
is
But they
once
never-
you're in a store's door with a white spirit, it's a lot easier to get your
and I will
dark
say
spirits
that
on the
that
shelf.
Yeah.
vodka is made from corn.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So it naturally tastes like butterscotch.
Okay.
It is
So
not.
it's more like a corn whiskey as opposed to a
it
vodka.
kind of is.
Yeah.
I guess you would call it a white dog. You wouldn't even.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really. You can call it vodka
Is
because
it, is it pretty mellow? Like
Yeah.
that mellow.
like
corn?
your beloved mellow corn.
Hey, man. I have a mellow corn shirt that's, I think it's literally
they're the
that
same
same
green.
color. Yeah.
Oh, it is. I got
I
one.
love. Hey, you know what? I tried that 20-year mellow corn.
Dude,
I was.
it was good, wasn't it?
Oh,
It was
I forget
special.
where I wore that mellow corn shirt to. It might have been the Backbone pick, and people were giving me crap too.
I'm never gonna give you crap over mellow corn. That's bottled and bond corn whiskey for $20 a
heck
bottle.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Go grab
Let's
that every
go.
day of the week.
I mean, it is an easy mixer.
Oh, you guys are done with yours.
Yep. And you know what? Speaking of people that source and do a really good job, I'm looking over at the bar and I see Barrel Craft Spirits.
Barrel. Yep.
And that is their whole thing is that they source and
I don't even know if they have a still.
They don't. They
I don't
don't.
believe they do.
They're not distilling anything that
And I
I've
don't
ever
think they
heard of.
plan to.
No.
No, because they know exactly what they're doing.
They do. And you know who else knows what they're doing?
The wonderful people in Lynchburg, Tennessee.
The wonderful people of Lynchburg, Tennessee. I got a couple shout outs to give before we get into
All right,
this
all right.
bottle.
Let's.
So I'd like to thank Isaiah Long for finding this. Yeah. For finding this on the shelf and buying it at retail. And then also Dr. Johnston for bringing it from Nashville for me.
Nice.
So these bottles have been on secondary and they have been going higher than they should. But the ones that are hitting that like $250 mark, the $275 mark,
Those are the hazmats.
are the high proofers.
Yeah.
And this is the highest proof one that I've seen.
Oh,
What is this
really?
one?
Yeah.
What is this one?
139.
Oh yeah, baby.
This is the Jack Daniels. It's a I can't say it's new, but it is one of their newest
Well,
releases.
I mean,
This is one step below
bottling
Coy
date
Hill.
of March 31st, 23. So
yeah. So
I'd call that new.
this
Yeah.
is their single barrel proof rye at 139 proof, and
This is the first rye that they've done in the barrel proof, right? Am I wrong?
so in 2020 their heritage release
Yep.
was a single barrel proof rye.
Okay.
And that went over so well on the market that in 2023 they brought it back. 2023's heritage release is a they're calling it twice barreled. It's a double oak rye.
At 100 proof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll crack it open. Listen to this cork. Yeah, that's charged.
There you go, baby.
So
Beat me up. Take me behind the woodshed.
there you are.
Yeah.
I love Jack Daniel's ryes. I have always, anytime I've seen a standard single barrel pick, which I think is around the 90-some proof mark, I've always bought them. They typically do a gingerbread cookie thing for me because it's a
Okay.
low rye mash bill.
Any idea
that-
roughly on that low rye percentage?
I am not sure.
Okay.
If I had gone to the tour that I did yesterday, I could have told you, but I do think it's in the 50s.
Okay.
I thought heard someone say it was like
So
57 rye.
Yeah, we're riding in that barely legal area. That's
Yeah.
my favorite spot for ryes, personally.
Dude, this is so dark.
It is so dark.
What's the age?
I don't know. I
Okay.
would imagine 6-ish years.
Okay. Let's get a great nose on it too.
Oh my gosh.
You definitely get that gingerbread thing, but there's like this little tiny
my-
sliver of underlying mint.
Oh, and then
Oh,
you
yeah.
still get that beautiful banana in there, baby.
That's got to be their yeast strain that they use because it
something.
comes across in their regular and in their rye.
And I love that banana runt note, man. That is so good.
Okay. It absolutely blew out the cigar for me.
Oh, I'm sure it did at that proof. The only high proof one that I've had recently.
Yeah.
I can't taste the cigar.
The only
I'm
I'm in
not
the
mad
final
about
third,
it
and there's
No.
nothing
because
here
this
now.
is so good.
The only high proofers that I think that we've had recently that didn't blow the cigars out have been those brandies
Yeah.
that we got coming in over 140, and that you can still taste your cigar.
Oh my gosh. So that does all of the like super caramelized brown sugar notes. It is thick and oily on the palate. Oh my goodness.
Thank you, Isaiah, for sharing that.
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome. And this is my first taste of it too. I literally popped the
Cellophane off
yeah.
before we started recording.
Yeah. So I am
It's undeniably Jack.
yeah. But it's so beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah. The nice thing about this that some of the single barrel proofs get is that this doesn't have that super heavy. I call it. I mean it does that Tennessee thing. A lot of times comes with so much char.
Yes.
Like a lot of the Jacks have a ton of that char note, and in this it's balanced.
It is. It's very balanced, and it is so darn good, man.
that is really good. We got some good bottles on the table today, man.
I kind of poured heavy for me.
Yes,
so
you did.
I will not be leaving after this show.
Good. I have other things.
No, because we have 9 more barrels to try through.
Yeah, Victoria's got her bachelorette party tonight, so I have I have nothing going on.
Got 2 weeks. Well, yeah, 2 weeks for yours.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, I forgot.
Oh, yeah.
There's a Russell's 13 down there.
So, just so you guys know, if you guys know of any, this is not a politically correct show.
No.
If you have any midget strippers, let me know.
Yes.
We gotta get them out here for Isaiah's bachelor
My
party.
gosh, please don't. Don't do
that, or I want the biggest stripper you can find. I mean, either 7 foot tall or 400 pounds.
Or both.
Or both. Agreed.
I would rather not any strippers. at my
No,
bachelor
we're not doing strippers.
Surprise,
for
I
Isaiah.
am the stripper, Isaiah. And you are getting a lap dance. I don't care if I
Oh,
have to
yeah.
hold you
Oh,
down
yeah.
on the chair.
Oh, God.
Trust me, you ain't going to be able to buck me off.
By the
little
way,
son.
did you get your banana hammock in yet?
Yeah, it's
good,
in.
Good,
It just
good.
actually, Amazon just told me it was delivered
nice,
today.
nice. Big boy.
Final third unhinged.
We'll have Segura's big, or not Segura, but what's the comedian that does Big Boy?
Bert Kreischer.
Bert
Schnitzel
Kreischer.
bitches.
Schnitzel bitches.
Yes. Yeah, we'll have to get.
Schnitzel bitches.
We're gonna have some good comedy specials on that night too. There's some
Oh, it'll
really
be
great
good.
ones out there, man.
It'll be a blast.
Oh.
You're not all invited, so I'm just telling you,
No.
you're not invited.
No, but if you would happen to show up here on, no, I'm not gonna do it.
If you happen to show up on the
Don't
certain
say
night
it.
that it is,
At the certain time
and
that it
you
is.
bring
A bottle.
a bottle that is worthy of you sticking around. And
That's
I'm
part of it.
talking Pappy, I'm talking William LaRue.
How about a George T. Stagg?
George
I'd take a
T's. We'll
George
take some
T,
George
baby.
T's. Yeah.
What
yeah.
about
You
some
are-
more Mellow Corn 20-year?
Oh, yeah. If you have that, you're welcome any day of the week, my man.
You bring a Heaven Hill 17.
17 would
I
be
still
great.
haven't even tried that. So.
Oh, you have not tried that. I can't believe that.
No, uh-uh.
Hey,
That's on
Lisa,
you,
when
Rob.
you listen to this, pour a little sample bottle. We'll give it to Isaiah. He'll have it for that night.
He better swig it back in one shot, or else I'm gonna steal his glass.
You've had it though.
Yes, I have, and I
Yes.
want more. I'm fiending.
I'm not sure why you haven't had it, Isaiah. Oh, you weren't here that night. Lisa brought it in to share. New Year's Eve.
I am so impressed by this single barrel barrel
is
proof
so
release.
good.
The other wonderful thing about this is another barrel proof offering that tastes allocated, but is a shelf staple.
Yeah.
So if you see one of these and you're at all a fan of rye, pick it up.
Dude, if you're a fan of Jack in general, this does all the Jack stuff
And we're
for
not
me.
talking old number.
No.
seven. I
I'm
know.
talking about single barrel
Yeah.
barrel proof. If you're a fan of the single barrel proofs at any proof, I mean, honestly, I know
Bless
this is
you.
rye, but I don't feel like it's so heavy rye that it's overpowering anything. This fits right along with their regular release whiskey.
Oh, this is absolutely fantastic.
My goodness.
All right, so what else has been going on? You got anything fun or new on the board that you want to share?
I don't think so.
Okay, cool.
The only thing new for this week, which they've already heard, is the
Schnitzel, bitches.
yeah. That's all.
I mean, we can toss another pour into this, but
We can do that. I mean,
we're
we got-
already at an
we got
hour
time.
20, but
Yeah, once we get down with this cigar, we'll
Eric,
close
I
up.
can't swig this down.
no,
we're
you
not,
can't.
we're not swigging.
But it's ready. It's
You got
waiting.
you another Russell's?
So
Nice.
Eric under the table has a Russell's 13,
Nice.
which I'll be interested to see if I can taste it after this.
True.
Oh, don't worry. The kickin' chicken always comes for you.
The kicking chicken.
Chicken? What are you talking about?
Wild turkey.
Oh,
Kicking chicken.
okay.
Wild turkey. Kickin' chicken, baby.
Yeah.
That's what I used to hear it called all the time when I was growing up. Grandpa had too much of the kickin' chicken. Now he's passed out in the living room couch.
Understandable.
That's true. That's very true. Especially if you're drinking, some of this kicking chicken.
Oh, yeah.
So, Eric, we talked about it a little bit. But what do you see are some of the downfalls of these brands that we know and love being bought out by big conglomerates? And we talked a little bit about it with that Russell's release. But if you were to say in 5 years, here's the state of these brands, what do you think it's going to be? Do you think they'll still be 17, 18-year releases from them? Do you think everything's going to be finished? Or do you think they're just going to chase the trend and forget about just good aged whiskey altogether?
I think there's definitely going to be. So, Wild Turkey is the one I'm going to focus on because it's the one I probably know best. I have over 30 different bottles of Wild Turkey.
And this is true.
I
I've
have
seen it.
multiple
Yes.
single barrels. I have multiple limited releases. So it's the brand I know best. It's the one I've been able to track for the most years of my drinking time. So long as there is a Russell, whether it be Jimmy, Eddie, or Bruce, still behind the wheel to a certain degree at that distillery,
Are they still behind the wheel, or do you think that they're figureheads at this point?
I think they are still behind the wheel on certain things.
Okay.
I think pricing has completely left their control
Yes.
altogether.
I would agree.
I believe that is fully in Campari's hands. And to a certain extent, I think that they prefer it that way because now when people come in, those who are horrible human beings and want to go complain, the day they get to meet one of these Russells at the distillery and complain about pricing, they're able to be honest and say, hey,
It's not
our
us.
hands are tied.
Yep,
Go
yep.
talk to Campari.
Yeah.
yeah.
And by
And-
talk to Campari means you'll never be able to talk to anybody
Yeah,
at Campari.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. But
Yep.
I mean, it's no different. Go talk to Diageo or Sazerac, and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, in the
Yeah.
Diageo brands, I don't see it apart from Four Roses in the Diageo.
Wait,
Are they
no, they're Kieran.
okay? I misspoke.
No, but
Who's in the Diageo brand?
Diageo brand is a lot of your Scotch world.
yeah,
Lagavulin is it I think it's Lagavulin. That's Diageo.
Okay.
The other big
oh,
distillery
Bullet.
here, yeah, Bullet.
Bullet, that's it. Yeah.
So that's why I thought
so
Four
there,
Roses
fun
because
fact: there are some older bottles of Bullet if you find them on the shelf, especially the barrel proof. It will say Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey on the front. If you flip that bottle over, it will actually say bottled in Plainfield, Illinois, because they have a massive bottling facility there.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. That's interesting.
yeah, it but they so Lagavulin and they also own the Cascade Hollow stuff,
Which is George Dickel.
George Dickel.
Gotcha. That's right.
Which, so long as Dickel's over 100 proof and aged, that's pretty good stuff.
Good stuff. Yeah.
I do like it.
Yeah.
And, which is a lot of the Blue Note special releases are cash
there's-
strength George Dickel.
There was a while where a lot of the single barrels
Yeah.
were Dickel, and they were fantastic. I'll have to bring you in when I have a 14 year.
And what
Okay.
what I'm hearing is we all like the Dickel in our mouth.
Have fun with that in editing.
You know how he edits? He doesn't.
I know.
He doesn't.
So then why can't we have that lost episode?
That has to be shown during your bachelor party. Come on, man.
I don't think I have the video anymore.
Oh no.
Is he fired now?
Rob might. Those were recorded on his phone.
I doubt I have it still. I thought you kept all of it. I'll look.
Dog, I've switched computers since then.
Okay.
Yeah.
How could you do that to us? Either way,
We're gonna create a new memory, and there will be a podcast recorded that night. If it'll get released or not, another story.
This is gonna be the long lost episodes. What that
But
was
it
gonna
needs
be.
to be sent to everybody in attendance.
Oh
sure.
yeah, it can.
Just so that we can remember it, because some of us may not be able to remember all the events of the evening.
Well, I heard Bother might be bringing his camper if he has one at that point.
Oh, Lord.
You know,
parking
and
it out
if,
back.
and if he doesn't, we might be able to get Scott DeShong, which if you're listening, Scott, I'm throwing you under the bus here, buddy. He might be able to pull his over. He's only like 3 miles from here. He might bring his over for us to sleep
But
in.
back to what you were asking me before we got completely derailed.
That never happens on this show.
No,
Yeah.
Never.
ever.
We're
I do think,
professionals.
unfortunately, Wild Turkey is going to start chasing some trends. You kind of already got that gist when they went after the toasted barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you're seeing this rum finish. And I'll be completely honest, and this, for you guys that know me, you know this is saying a lot. The Peerless rum barrel finish is better than the new Master's Keep Voyage
Oh, wow.
at half the
it's-
price.
Yeah. And I have always had my qualms with Peerless because of their prices. But now in today's whiskey market,
Everybody's catching up to that
it
price
doesn't
point.
seem bad.
Yeah.
But at the same time, and I wish I had brought some Peerless with me, when you buy a single barrel from them,
I can't imagine if we were drinking Peerless on top of all of them.
How many of those did you bring that one day?
I brought 6.
Was it 6? Plus all the other bottles we had too?
Yeah, if you taste these Peerless single barrels that you can get at distillery or you can get through stores that you trust,
Yeah.
number one, it's actually cheaper to buy them from stores or clubs.
Yeah.
They are a lower price than at the distillery.
Yep. Well, there's a distillery tax for most
Yes,
Kentucky distilleries.
The beautiful thing with picking up a single barrel at the distillery, John Waddle, shout out to you, my friend. He does, you've met John.
Yeah. John's awesome.
He does fantastic tasting notes for these single barrels, and he publishes them all online. If you are close to Kentucky and make your way through Louisville, even only once every 6 months, you can look online, find out what they have, and they keep it updated throughout the year. You can buy that single barrel and then just go pick it up later on.
And I will tell you,
And-
if you ever try any of the Peerless special release bottles, their notes
Are
are
spot
spot on. I mean, they'll come up with some of these crazy notes. You say, whatever. And you taste like, oh my God, he hit it nail on the head.
Rob will attest. I didn't bring it today, and I feel terrible. Brulee.
It was high proof creme brulee, baby.
Yeah.
I think Tam, did you have that one too?
She did, yeah.
The brulee from Peerless.
Yeah, she
She
loved
just
that
gave
one.
that guttural. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what was the other one? The cinnamon
Coconut Smile.
Oh, coconut smile. That's
Yeah, you had Coconut Smile. You had Brown Sugar Citrus.
Yeah.
they all tasted
And,
just like that.
And yeah, they're 125, but by God, they're
They're
so good.
They're also one of those distilleries that I think is going out of their way to keep their prized barrels for the distillery,
Yes.
which there's a lot that aren't doing it anymore.
I don't know if they're really keeping their prized barrels for the distillery as much as John Waddle is truly a great curator of single barrels.
Yeah.
And because
I mean,
had
at a certain
ones-
point, they have to be marked for the distillery. And surely there's an excess. And he'd be like, well, my higher end clubs or my normal buyers will also have access to this
Yes,
level.
because I've had one that was called Black Cherry Tart that was really very close to drinking a cherry Coke. And that was dangerous at 118 proof, I think it was.
Oh, yeah.
And then Rob will tell you, I had one recently from my club, and it's called Coconut Smile, like the old ads back in the day.
Yeah.
It tastes like Coca-Cola.
Yeah. So Rob's getting into this Russell's 13, but I hate to say it, but we're gonna have to close
We're
this
gonna close it
podcast
out, yeah,
up.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, you won't get to hear our thoughts, but you get to know we had it.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for us. I mean, we're done. We're down in well into the final third. I will say you're right. The Jack kind of killed a lot of the cigar. Although all the flavor of the cigar is still there, the strength's not there anymore.
Yeah.
So it's still pretty good though. So yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at Final Third Cigar.
You can follow me on Instagram at Jans, Jans 94.
And you can find me on Instagram at the Whiskey Pastor. Thanks, guys, for
Yep.
tuning in for this
Thank you
fun
guys for having
episode.
me.
Thanks for bringing stuff.
Yeah, we'll see you next time. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Schnitzel, bitches.